Okay, so the next aspect I want to focus on is the Dreamweaver. The Dreamweaver environment. Um, One of the most important IDEs we have today at our disposal is Adobe Dreamweaver. But the downside to it is that Dreamweaver is not free. It's a subscription-based software, so definitely you have to pay up something to have it as a web developer. If you're in any part of the world, you might just as well use Eclipse or Notepad. But for those that can afford the software, you know, this it's a very good software. Actually, I would actually recommend it if you know you can afford to buy it and use it as your major integrated development environment. All you have to do is go to their website, you register, you sign up with your email and your social login identity. Then you are directed to the download where you are given a trial, maybe 7 days or so, you know, before you are requested to pay for the subscription. Okay, that is that for uh, Adobe Dreamweaver. It's very good actually, and it's a very solid, so to speak. It's a very solid software for use. Now I want to put you through creating a simple web application with Adobe Dreamweaver, and I need to pay left pane, and it also has a right pane. Okay, now if you look at this area, the right pane, you see you have files. After the first installation, you discover that you have a default lineage of your file directory or your system directory. You have desktop, computer network, desktop items, etc. Now you also have this tab here. This one is just for the libraries. Then this one is for inserting certain resources or assets that can be used for web production. Then another very important thing is the CSS designer. Adobe has an intuitive CSS designer that makes web design very exciting. Okay, I will really give it 5 stars as far as its intuition and the design is concerned. Okay, but the most important place that you will be interacting with is the files, the file tab. That file tab, when you install for the first time, it enlists these things you're seeing here. But after the creation of the web application, it's going to populate it with the web application in respect, in context. Okay, now let's move on to this area, the edit. Under the edit menu, go to preferences. Now the preferences has a lot of options, but one of the most important that I really love in the list of the preferences is the interface. Now if you click on this interface, you have various themes. If you click on this one is the you have various themes you can choose from, and as you click it, you see its effect on the interface for the compiler, this specific ID we're talking about here, Adobe Dreamweaver. Okay, now you have a whole lot too. You have the you have this light. This is the light one. You've seen the two dark ones, how they feel. Then look at this one again. The feel of this is much more lighter than the other three. Okay, but for me, I prefer this. This is cool. It gives a kind of cool, not too picky color. All right, so you don't really need to click apply. Once you click it or you select the color theme, it immediately reflects at the background. Okay, so now let's go to the main thing we are trying to understand, the Dreamweaver integrated development environment. It's very exciting. Now if you want to create a web application, you should take note of this. You can do this in several ways. You can say site, new site. It brings up this dialog. Now this dialog has site name, which you fill. It has a location, which you also fill. Then it has servers, which you have to define the local and the testing remote. You know. Then of course CSS preprocessors. You also need to fill that optionally. Then the advanced settings, you also have this. Now another way to get in here, apart from this site, new site, is manage sites. Still under the site menu, the two options are under the site menu. Take note of that. Now in this dialog, you have manage sites. So if you want to create a new site, you can just click this and it brings you up to the same place where we started initially. Okay, now you can use this panel, this manage site panel, to actually manage all your web applications. You know, if you have multiple web applications you're designing or you're administering, you can just, as soon as you create them, they'll be listed here, so you can import, you can create a new one, you can delete. You know, these little minute looking menus here. This one is for deletion, this is for editing, this is for duplicating, this one is for exporting. So they all have their various functions, and of course I think they have a quite okay. The help menu is not exactly here, but I think if you click that and it works, it could just take you online for a help search. Okay, so let's save ourselves and go straight to what we want to do now. We want to create a new site, and let's pick this and call this first, as FIRST, first. Now, since we've not declared any kind of web application before, this is the default link you see here: users, user, documents, and then the unnamed site. So you can't leave it like this. You definitely have to select this folder looking icon. Then you will now navigate to the place, which of course should be the Xampp. It should be the Xampp's directory, the Xampp, no other place, the HT docs there. Yes. Okay. We've already created first from the previous sections that we had. So we could as well use this, or just for the sake of reinforcement, let's create a new folder. Okay. We create a new folder and I'll call it Dreamweaver. Yes, Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver. Okay, so that is it. So we select the folder. Select the folder right there. Okay, so this is it. So you select folder. As soon as you select folder, you observe that the local site folder changes its directory from the unnamed site. Now that's the first step. The second step is the servers. You want to add a server to this IDE. This is the way to do it. You simply bring your mouse to this plus icon here. You click that. Okay, this comes up. Now it has two options here. You have the basic, then you have the advanced. So we have to fill each of these tabs. The first one is the basic. So now the option is given us here is server name. If you're going to put a server name, this has to be localhost. Okay, that's it. The server name is local because we are dealing with the local production now. It's not yet time to go to the remote production. You go from the local to the remote. Right now, the second option is connect using what? A list of options here. We have FTP, we have SFTP, we have FTP over SSL, TLS, implicit encryption. Then we have FTP over SSL / TLS, explicit encryption as well. Okay, it seems as if one is implicit, the other one is explicit. Right. Now it also has local network, then it has WebDAV, then it has RDS. What we're concerned with is the local network, so we have to select this. Okay, now the server folder, you recall that we made a link in the initial site. So in this server folder, we have to relink to that same server folder, the one we created in the htdoc. So you click the browse. Okay, it's still navigating within that region. As you can see, this is Xampp htdoc Dreamweaver. So this is what we select. We select this because it's the server folder. It's just the same folder we created initially here. Now for the web URL, The web URL, you have to, this is how you fill the web URL. Localhost /Dreamweaver. Okay, yes, that's what you put there. Then you go to the advanced tab. In the advanced tab, you have a list of options as well that you need to attend to. We see here, maintain synchronization information, automatically add or upload files to server on save, enable file checkouts. Then you also have checkout name, email address, you have testing server, and then the server model. Now let's start from the top to down to bottom. Okay, you already have this checked. You leave this checked. You need to check this, automatically upload files to server on save. Yes, that means the ones which, as soon as you click Ctrl S, it will save to the web server. That's what it means. Now, maintain synchronization information means that the files will be synchronized, will be balanced back and forth. Okay, so now the checkout name and email is optional, but the most important thing you also have to check here is the server model. You have several server models. You have ASP JavaScript, you have ASP VB script, you have ASP.NET C#, you have ASP.NET VB, you have Cold Fusion, you have JSP, you have PHP MySQL. So this is what we're after, the PHP MySQL. Okay, so that is it. And after these options have been filled, both in the advanced and the basic, then you can click save. Right, as soon as you click save, you see something takes place here now, and you have this list of dialogues. Over here, you will select the server that will host your pages on the web. The settings for this dialog box come from your internet service provider or your web administrator. So you are the web administrator now, and you need to determine if this is a testing server or not. Since we've chosen our name or our local host as the main server we're dealing with, and the address is also here, then the remote also is here, then the testing, you need to check this as well. Yes, because we're not dealing with the remote, we are dealing with the testing server. This is a testing server. Okay, so the next thing now is the CSS processors. We might not really have any business with this for now, but the next important thing is the advanced, which is the local info. Okay, we're not going to touch all these ones: the cloaking, the design notes, the file view columns, the contribute, the templates, jQuery, web fonts, animation assets. No, you don't need that for now. All you need is just indicate the default images folder here by clicking this folder button. Then within this Dreamweaver, the same Dreamweaver we've created initially, create a new folder and call it images or image folder. Select it as the primary image folder for the local site. Okay, so then links has to be related to your site root, not the document. So you unselect this and make sure the site root is selected. The rest remains the same in its default value. Same thing, meaning it must correspond. There has to be correspondence. Anyway, it's when we actually test it on the browser that we'll be able to know if what we have done is correct, or we may need to come back here and then re-correct or replace one or two things. So for now, since we've set the sites, I'll go over that again. The sites, we made sure that we gave it a site name, local site folder. Okay, then we went to the servers. We of course created by clicking a plus. If you wanted to edit now, we'll just click edit existing, so it's going to bring up what we filled in before. We have the basic, we filled in the basic, then of course we filled in the advanced. Okay, so that is in place. And we also made sure that the testing server is chosen. Then finally, and then of course we saved. And ensure that the image is there. Now, because I clicked saved, we just clicked saved, it has repopulated the right hand pane with the site, website or web application. Let's put it that way. Now there's nothing in this file. There's nothing. We just have the site folder in Xampp htdocs, and we also have the images which we created. There's no file there. So in order to create a PHP file, you come to this menu, the file menu. You click on new. Right? When you click on new, it's going to bring up a list of options that we have to select and know whether we're trying to develop a web application that is ASP compliant or GSP compliant or just PHP. The dialog that is going to come out now will indicate that and will give us the right direction. So let's wait now and see what it brings up. Okay, yes, it's up. Now we have new document, and then we have starter templates. We have basic layout, bootstrap, email, this, that. Okay, then we have the site templates. Now we're going to stick to the new documents, and here on the document tabs you have HTML, CSS, LESS, SCSS, SAS, JavaScript, JSON, PHP, XML, SVG, HTML template, PHP template. Okay, so we're just going to choose, and of course here we have Bootstrap. Bootstrap is actually like a universal code for that you can derive your own from. We'll be talking more about Bootstrap later, much later when we go to the advanced PHP MySQL now. But for now, what we're going to choose now is we're just going to choose the PHP documents. All right, and ensure that HTML5 is checked. Yes, HTML5, as at the time of this writing. We have other options there, but then let's just focus on HTML5 for now. Okay, so now once we have our options set in this dialog, the next important thing that we would have to do is come to the create button. Bring the mouse to the create button and create the PHP page. Let's just give it a while now, and then we're going to see the PHP page come up on the right pane of Adobe Dreamweaver. Now, some of you might imagine complicated. Actually, most students that I've taught PHP MySQL over the years, undergraduates, postgraduates, and the likes, they always find it difficult to grasp this aspect, and several other students prefer Notepad, or they prefer Eclipse, or just the ordinary Notepad you see on the system. But if you can actually afford this software and use it, it's actually very good because it has a lot of features that that is enshrined within the software that can be helpful during real-time delivery when you need to deliver tasks and assignments for small, medium, or large industrial use. Okay, if you're in charge of developing such applications, then a good foundation and a good grasp of these kinds of IDEs will definitely help you to advance your career. Okay, so you have the first, which is the name of the site within a Dreamweaver environment. Then you have the string, the one that follows the htdocs, which is the most important. This is the reference name, the localhost Dreamweaver, / this name here, adobe.d.php, is what's going to bring up our file, our view, the view time, when we get to the view time. Okay, now let's look more. Let's take a look at this section. In Dreamweaver, you have the code section, which just enumerates the code itself, and then you have the split section, which splits the graphical user interface, which is the white space you're seeing here, and the code itself. Now, of course, then you have the live. It's where you preview a live script of what you've written within the same authoring tool, just similar to what Eclipse does. Okay, now I want us to focus on the code because I don't want us to be distracted with the split or the live. Now let's just remove this. Now this code you're seeing here is the default code that Dreamweaver generates whenever you create a new file. Okay, particularly for PHP. Now we're talking with respect to PHP. Now I need you to understand the basic of an HTML code. Every website or every web page has these tags, and these tags are very important. With the exception of this, that is just a routine tag. The basic tag for every web has an opening and closing, like you can see in here. Now you have the HTML open and the HTML close. This is the closing tag for this. Okay, and then this is another tag. This is the head. As you can see, it's underlined, and this is the closing tag for head. Each of them has a pair, comes in pair, with the exception of this upper one here that we saw, and then this meta. It's another tag that is quite unique on its own, in the sense that it doesn't have a closing tag like others, but it contains a tag for very important information like location and some other things, which we'll be talking about much later. Okay, then you have, of course, the title. Look at the title here. This title here gives us opening and closing as well. As you can see here, we have the open title here, and then we have the closing title here. Okay, this title is what appears at the top of the browser. If you cross-check any website you visit and you just press Ctrl U, you see the source code of the website, and definitely you're going to see something like title, and that title will have a name that describes what the web page contains. Okay, this is also very important for you to note. So what we really want to do here is that we just want to demonstrate how we can run a simple PHP script and run it on the browser. Okay, so now let us just edit the title and call it Adobe Dreamweaver tests. Okay, that's the title we're giving it. Now whatever you type in the body of an HTML tag appears for the user to read, to interact with, and all that. And that is very, very important. Just take the body tag. That's exactly what the body tag has. So many child elements which we cannot exhaust today, but I want to introduce you to just one of those child elements or tags that the body element has in HTML. All right, let's make this a paragraph. This is how to put a paragraph, and the modern way of these IDEs now, especially Dreamweaver, it automatically, once you open a tag, it closes the tag. Like this is a paragraph. You're trying to create a paragraph. Okay, so as soon as you're opening a paragraph, it's closing it. A paragraph does what you all know it does in language. It creates context from layers of context while you switch between contexts. All right, so right here now I want to just put something within this. We can put a simple PHP tag, okay, that will give us specifically codes to write. Okay, so here let's assume we want to say echo close the semicolon and say welcome to Dreamweaver web application development. Okay, let's just make that our first statement. Then of course let's say echo. As you can see, as you're typing, it's giving you a very helpful hint, so very many, and it makes coding very easy. If you're developing an app, if you're a newbie and you're trying to develop an app, these kind of code hints could serve as very, very helpful. Okay, so the next thing I want to type here is just PHP info. See, it's bringing up the list of available functions that PHP has. See, PHP info is also one of them, and it's giving you the region at which the PHP exists, from PHP 4 version to 5, and of course above. So now we're just going to close this. Yes, it's closed, automatically closes the tab, the curly braces or the round braces for us. So here you see that the code is done. Before then, you observe that before we put the semicolon, there was a sort of reddish line in line 12, but after we just put that, the reddish error notification disappeared. So what we'll do here is that we'll just save this file, and then we'll attempt to run it on the browser. Let's get to the browser and see how this code runs. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, all I did was just put with the web server running. Of course, I mustn't forget to tell you that you have to have your web server running. Your web server must be running. Your Apache must have been started, your SQL running optionally. Okay, well, at least the Apache must be running, so you can call the local host. Now look at this, just look at it. There's no difference between what you did earlier, but what you can see right now is that the URL, how it was called. This is Dreamweaver, the local hosts section. Now this is the folder name in the htdocs, and then this is the file name we created in the Dreamweaver site.